Well, here we are, day 15, our final day of Masters of the Genius Universe. Ooh, so exciting. Haven't we just had an adventure together? Oh my goodness. Both Santari and I have loved every second of it, haven't we?
Yes, it's been quite an odyssey.
Oh,
Oh, all the
yes.
stuff we have to go through to get these videos and put up onto Facebook.
Yeah, you should see what we have to go through. Unplug phones and all kinds of things. But here we are. And we've loved it. Really, really, really loved it. Love working with all of you. Love sharing what we know and then hearing what you know as you post on Facebook and seeing the mastery unfold in all of us, seeing our collective mastery really coming to the fore together, really beginning to design and create together. And I know the potential of us from here is just incredible. This is just the beginning, actually. And I'm hoping we'll use the Facebook group, the Masters of the Genius Universe Facebook group, to actually work as a collective masterful group to make amazing things happen for the world and the universe. So I'm excited. So today, I think what we're going to talk about is creating collective reality as a masterful collective. But I thought first we'd run through just some of the topics that we covered, because this is our last day, so it'd be great to kind of look at that. So I wrote them all down. So we started this series with what is mastery and how can you access it? And I mean, now you're like, yeah, you've all got your mastery. You know that. Maybe you did when you started, but I think if you look, you'll see it's much more real and tangible and available to you in your everyday lives now. And, feel free to share on the Facebook group how that's showing up for you. The second one was the mastery of knowing, so living in the infinite intelligence streams and knowing anything we wanted to know. And I love Jackie's example of that, of tuning in to find a director for their film and coming up with a name of someone who actually was a director. That's just incredible. Go, Jackie.
That's crazy.
Wonderful. And number three was how to find your greater purpose or role in the greater game. Number four was mastering possibility. Number five was mastering the art of genius transformation. Number six was working with the grand forces of creation. Number seven, oh, I think this was one of my favorites, the power of ecstatic awe. I love that one. Number eight, mastering partnership, collaboration, and collectiveness. We were starting to move into the collective work at that point. Number nine, beyond being, living as the genius universe, and giving up identity and being willing to become anything you could be and wanted to be. Number 10, creating and sourcing a supermassively awesome collective consciousness. That's us. Number 11, the many voices of living intelligence, and beginning to declare ourselves as masters and what were we masters at. And we began to share about that in the Facebook group. I loved, by the way, the uniqueness of those masteries that are showing up there. It's just, what's so beautiful in this collective is that nobody's the same. Hallelujah. We're all so unique, so different. We bring something awesome to the party, every single one of us. And it's because we're so different that the fabric of our collectiveness is so exciting. I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. On I think it was Star Trek, they used to talk about the Borg. And the Borg had a hive mind, and they were all like these robotic warrior creatures who walked around run by the hive mind. And I remember thinking at the time, if I was going to design collective consciousness, it wouldn't be like that. It would be an celebration of masterful, awesome, amazing beingness, each one unique, and that's exactly what we are and what we've done. So I love it. Number 12 was tapping the mind of God, becoming the dreamers of the dream. So we were looking, we're starting to play a little bit with Godness, but also looking at that space where genius and possibility and ideas are generated, and to be able to bring that into ourselves, which we did, brought that into ourselves, and so we can be originators of possibility and genius. Number 13 was civilization builders, universal designers, and dream makers. Oh, I love that one too. That's really exciting as we're designing a brand new universe, and each of us bringing something amazing to that. And then yesterday's number 14 was collective mastery. So, wow, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So anything you want to say, Santari, about the journey so far?
Well, I think what we've done is we've talked about terms that perhaps needed to be given a little bit more loosening and clarity about what all these things really mean to us. And I think in the process of doing that, it's made things much more understandable, available, accessible, comprehensible. So we're not talking about things which are way out and abstract and complicated to understand. We're putting them into terms, in daily life terms, that you go, I get what that is. I understand what it is. I have a real life experience, an example right here in front of me that I'm working on. But I hadn't seen it in that way. I hadn't conceived of myself as the originator or the source, the creator. I hadn't seen that perhaps together collectively we're working upon something that is really completely different from the world that I thought we were living in. And so as we have those exchanges with each of these videos that present a different aspect, it becomes more like we're on something completely new, into like a new fabric. What we're saying is, the new genius universe. How is it different from the universe you've known before? Well, we've looked at the descriptions, and we come to talk about the various pathways with which we might know ourselves, the reality we shape and craft, the universe, the world, existence, life, and it's fascinating to see that there's not a final destination, that we're continuing to explore and to put out the boundaries of the things that we are discussing, so that they become much more easier to talk about to other people, so that it's not just about a closed Facebook group who understand something in a particular way. It's like the whole world is talking about these things that we're discussing right now, but we're presenting it in I think, a unique fashion that is really widely representative of the whole field of human endeavor, and can easily take an example that is commonplace, and we can talk about how brilliant people are conceiving of their relationship with this idea about being a creator. And so I think, it's we don't know what we're going to be talking about on this call, really. We don't know the words that are going to tumble out of our mouths, but we know that something is emerging from these conversations, and something connects us together so seamlessly but powerfully, and we can feel the energy that's just impelling us to do something that is the next. So I like these conversations, these journeys, and I don't know what's going to happen after the 15 days.
Yeah, me too. Do you know, one of the things I would say that where we all are very unique, where we meet is in our love of life and our love of nature, of the universe and creation, of being in the power of ecstatic awe to be the starting point to unfold the next and new creations. And I just loved the email from Morgine this morning talking about how she loved seeing the buds come out the tree and the seeds unfurl from the ground. And oh yeah, that's our place for sure. That's where we all meet, right there. And I was thinking as I read that as well, how much I love seeing what's in behind everything, what yet is to become. And I do think the place to start that from is from this awe and wonder of what it is. I think that's the starting point. And then, what more could it even yet be? And I think for me that's where I love to bring my hand to mastery, is in unfolding the genius universe into that which it may not have ever yet dreamed it could become yet, which is even more of itself and more exhilarating and more ecstatic and more beautiful and more brilliant and more genius and, you know, whatever, more miraculous. All of that. I just love it. And I think it's
I'm
amazing.
just reminded of a moment that I had a telephone conversation many years back now, and the person I was doing a coaching call with, um, we both realized together that as we were talking, there was like something emerging, almost as if in the spaces between us, there was a third area where you could feel energy just um, occurring as a sentient being that's just being stirred. And I think in those moments when you almost like have an amazing revelation that it goes beyond all the thinking, all the things you've ever been taught about. Something you have just discovered. Something is just being realized that is really, you could say, your contribution to the unfolding of whatever is just being gently stirred. And I think that's the type of conversation that we brilliantly bring to the fore, that we stir something in the unseen and in the unknown, and we wait almost like breathtakingly for the next moment, which we feel what that might be, what it might become, and who we might become, and what life is now being given to us in to awaken our understandings even further. I looked at means of the universe today on the internet, and it was just like people. I could see that through some articles, people were questioning what the universe is, how big it is really, what it actually involves. I'm thinking, yes, these are great conversations that that they're being stirred, because you've got to realize that it's not a finite thing that we're talking about. It doesn't have this shape. It isn't like there, that's done. Now we all just tap into it. Um, no, no. That would be perhaps very nice for some people, but that isn't going to stir me. That isn't going to get me out of bed in the morning. I feel that there is beauty in just sensing that you're a being who creates a new sense of awareness with which you detect something that is occurring in a conversation, and seeing what is being stirred and feeling its aliveness, and seeing that there's interaction taking place, and knowing that it isn't just between you and that person that you're having the conversation with, that in fact it has an impact upon all conversations, upon all beings, upon all energy movements and communications. And I feel that that is really the grand design that we're talking about.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you know, as you're talking, it reminds me of something I wrote a while ago. It was a phrase, and it was about genius fusion. That when unique genius flows up and meets and collides, it fuses into something more of itself. And I would say that's really what we're about in this Genius of the Masters universe and the new collectiveness that we're shaping, because part of that collectiveness is also the originating point of the mind of God, the nature, miraculous nature forces, the universe in creation, the star systems, the exploding stars, the beings, the life forms, everything is a part of it. It's not just about some people having learned a certain amount of things and achieved a certain level. And it's far, far, far different from that. What we've created as a collective consciousness and a collective living experience is genius fusion, where every single person brings something to the whole. In some of the lesser paradigms, some people would give ideas, and there'd be one that would be really good, and then they'd go with that, and then maybe a few other ideas might add on to it, but the other ideas didn't get used. That's not so in this genius fusion paradigm. In the genius fusion paradigm, all ideas richly contribute to the development of the brand new possibility.
Mm.
And there's no idea, no input that's not a part of that creation. And to me, that's extraordinary.
Mm. Every conversation adds, as far as I would say.
Yeah, because I love it too when you're talking about there's the third point between the two people having a conversation. That third point is that mystical, mysterious, invisible, unseen element that's part of the genius process and is essential to the genius fusion process, because it is like as you're talking in that conversation, the possibility is a sentient creature. Remember, we created new genius babes. I just remembered that from the other day. So each possibility is a sentient creature in its own regard. And it's also a partner with you, and it's looking for the fusion, for the exhilaration, for the becoming of what more it can be as well. So even if it's not something tangible that you're working with, something invisible and unknown as well is just as much of a sentient creature waiting to be exhilarated into beyond and beyond and beyond.
Mm. It's another skylight into knowing what existence and life is all about.
Whoa, I love that. Skylight into knowing.
Just kidding.
That's beautifully said. Wow. That's wonderful. Yeah, yeah. So, I think I'd like to talk a little bit too about what have we got from the series. I think that's kind of what you were just saying. For me, well, one, I've loved doing it with you, Santari. It's been a long time since we've done something like this together. And really, it's been wonderful to bounce off each other like that as co-genius creators. Really, it's been fascinating, and I love it. Two, to get to know all my super buddies who I already knew awesome, amazing, off the charts, but to see even more unfolding of the masterful parts of themselves, and the claiming of that, and the coming out into the world with that, and in the rich knowing that they stand in the mastery of that, and they are accountable for that as a force, as a creator. That's just been so exciting. And then, of course, there's the energy of the whole 2 weeks. It's been extraordinary because we went through a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse during that period. We've had these amazing experiences, both leading up to it and all the way through it, where there's been great, big, huge energy pulsing, as if something was waiting to become, and we took that on, and maybe we want to do a little bit more with that in this. I think, too, for me, essentially, I believe that I created this so that when we come up to a global challenge or a universal opportunity, that we step up to it with so much power and grace and awe and wonder that I don't want to say there can be no other outcome, but that it is made more of itself magically, miraculously, with no agenda in our brains at all for that. We step up with the mastery of collective creation and bring our genius fusion to the game and create beyond what we've done before. Now, we've been doing some of that in the consciousness creation calls we've been doing for years. I think it's ready for a whole other step up into mastery and as the genius universe in motion. So for me, those are some of the things I've gotten from this. And for you, Santari?
I would say almost like exactly the same things you've said about the working together. That's been amazing. And I know that when we do come from different perspectives, people do comment that it is sort of like complementary, and I think that's the way it always should be. That we're not making our particular cases and our point of view and ignoring the other person. No, we actually see there's an interrelationship that takes place, and through that interrelationship, it allows other people to feel that they're interrelated also.
Yeah.
And again, that's invitation to people to find their own unique sense of self and understanding through what it is that we're talking about. Also, I do agree that there's a very much a powerful presence. You evoke something, you set something in motion, and it's not that you get the energy for it. It's like the force of what is now being stirred actually starts to go bump and is with you, and you can feel it being with you, and you start to even just almost like become much more present to what wants to be spoken. And I think that gives a great deal of clarity, and through that clarity, amazing things start to occur to people, who are listening and being part of that conversation, because they're tapping into the force as well. They're feeling the force. They're starting to get a sense of what do I do with this? Well, we're giving some sort of insight into what the force is and how we can be with it, and what it says to us, and how you can communicate with it, and so forth. So I think it's amazing in that respect that we share something which is beyond what we originally conceived we're going to be talking about. And of course it always puts you onto the metal of being in the place of you disregard all the things that you think you might be wanting to speak about, because the words just come to you quite fluently anyway, and they're based upon what you're feeling for the genius universe is, and what the genius universe actually comes to you and says, I have a few things I want you to speak of as well. And it isn't like you have the voice, or that you have everything that needs to be spoken. There are so many different things that come together when we as beings allow ourselves to expand out, lose a sense of identity, become this amazing living intelligence, the genius universe, the force of creation, whatever it is, and then we are using the power with which we know that everyday life can be gifted in the speaking and in the actions taken and in the thought processes and in the daring to speak in this way as life, as the power of life that moves us, and it doesn't take courage, it doesn't take any of that stuff. You are representing something, and to know that you're representing something is an incredible privilege, because you have that voice then, which speaks to millions of life forms in trillions of ways, and with the power that just evokes change with every understanding that you start to formulate in yourself. You become, if you like, this grand orchestrator, and that life isn't just something that is an energy that flows through you. Life is a sparkling. It has its own dimensionality. It is a living force that presents itself and it shows itself, and it glorifies what it is that you want to be and do and feel as. And all of that, just takes place in just moments, in seconds, split seconds. And I think that is the beauty of setting something like this up, is that you're inviting yourself also to be this powerful presence that is taking this on, and then letting it go forth with its own power.
Yeah. Well, I think we should get everybody into the experience of it. How's that sound?
But you're not there already.
Well, yes. Let's just do some play, shall we? So,
exactly.
Okay, everybody. Deep breath. Get into that power of the exhilaration of life, the awe, the wonder of the genius universe, and all the possibilities that are swimming around, just waiting for you to reach out and swim with them. and create brand new vistas of possibility together. And feel yourself become the master of the genius universe that you are, as the universe, in awe and wonder of every single piece of it. And then feel all the other masters of the genius universe, both the 26, 27-ish of us that are in this original group that we're doing in April 2015. So feel all of them. Yeah, there we go. Collective mastery. And then the trillions and trillions of life forms throughout the galaxies and the universes as a collective mastery, bringing genius fusion to the game of a future that is beyond our wildest imaginings as yet. And think of something you would love to see improved upon or made better or made new in the world today. Anything at all. And put it in the center core space of our collective genius universe mastery. And then uplift it, exhilarate it, expand it, share it, gift it. Oh, beautiful. Wow, that was amazing. You could feel that stepping up as we went from those of us doing it together right now, April 15, and then expanded out to the trillions of life forms, and then the universe itself. And then I took uniquely genius and genius fusion, that everyone knew and celebrated being uniquely genius, and then shared genius fusion as a consciousness for the world and the universe. And I could see us, they talk about in quantum physics, they talk about waves and particles. I could see that we were beginning to be generators and sources of wave pulses that were different in the laws of physics than we've seen before, and they are fusion waves as forces of creational intent in the universe. So it was something slightly scientific, although I don't like that word, but definitely quantum physics-ish. That was going on there. For you, Santari?
Created by Soleira Green. Patented.
Genius fusion pulse waves. A whole new science.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, I was just being moved, and I was feeling that when you're moved by something which has that tendency or that ilk to almost like signal to you of greatness, that something great is emerging, that something beautiful is being shown, that something wondrous is being activated. Then, for me, those are ways in which I would say that I'm being moved. And if you just imagine that you are the entirety of all life, and that you're also the living intelligence that is aware of all the forms of life, that it is pure beauty. And in the way that you understand and can appreciate pure beauty, it's not by what you see or what you think, but it is like a feeling of a field, the feeling of a field meeting a field, and that the way in which those fields come together sort of like accentuates a feeling, an impression. It gives you an array of sweetness to your senses, a way of sweetly understanding that something is moving in you as this living intelligence. And I think when you're moved by something that somebody does, or when you're moved by a feeling for someone or something, then it sends up this vibration. Somehow it powerfully exudes something in you, and you are the whole of that vibration. You feel the sweetness of it, and of course you'll move to tears as an expression of that sweetness, because that sweetness has to be somehow given a way of being shown and displayed and presented, and the tears are part of that. But if you allow also that sweetness to be almost like the essence of that which generates life, of that which allows people to feel that when they are come to it, they feel a movement of expressiveness which is also nourishing to them. So there is something about how you feel can nourish yourself, can nourish other people, can just exponentially burst from you, because it is in the field of experience that we pick up these moments of what it is that I'm feeling from somebody else, from the collective, from the entirety of life. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know how it is presented to you. You just sense that you are having an emotion, an emotive moment, where you are given the this experience, and that you are so filled with the experience. You are so in the power and the windswept awness of it that you could take flight. That you could just go and take flight. And the power of your flying would be effortless. You would not even need a wing beat. You would just effortlessly sail through the seas of possibilities and through the cosmic skies of endeavor that would want to have all life have this experience with you. And then you suddenly realize all life is sharing this experience with you, because you have seen it that way. So I just put it in there that your experience really is everyone's experience. Everyone's experience is gifted back to you as your experience of life, and it's sort of like exponentializes itself.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Because as a true collective, everything we are is already shared. Everything we know is already available. It's a very different form of mastery than the previous thought forms of mastery. I remember when I was on a spiritual journey years and years and years ago, and I remember reading this story about Lemuria, and how the masters at the time lived on the top of these twin crystal mountains. And in order for any student to get to the masters, they had to be able to teleport themselves up. So they all sat at the base of the mountain. And until they could teleport themselves up, they couldn't be taught mastery. And I kind of thought that was pretty neat at the time. Challenging, but neat. But I have to say that mastery today doesn't look like that. It's not separate and away on the top of some mountain someplace, and there is no one who cannot instantly and automatically access their own mastery. That it doesn't take years and years and years of disciplined effort in order to master it. In fact, I think if you came at it from years and years and years of disciplined effort, you would lose something in the translation. You would lose the love of it, the ecstasy of it in the translation, perhaps. And I know there is a case to be made that once your fingers know how to play the piano, then you can just be in the ecstatic awe of it. I get that too. But this is very different as mastery.
Yeah.
And as collective mastery, it's not something we have to separate ourselves and be better than others and only a few have it and no way. And it's a shame that the term master means that in the world. It's someone who has achieved a particular level. But for us, this new collective genius mastery is something that is readily available to any and all in their own unique capacities to express, to be, to live, to create from. And I think that's really exciting.
And
So,
of course you have to recognize that each person is in their own right a master, and that there is no defining moment in which you can say, oh, you're a master.
Yeah.
No, you have this realization that it perhaps is inbuilt now, that you recognize it in yourself, you recognize it in others. So therefore there is an inbuilt respect as well, and an honoring of what people come to bring to this game of life.
yeah, absolutely. So I know we planned on talking about sourcing collective reality. We've kind of done a little bit of that. But I think instead we've recapped the mastery game and looked at some very wonderful things that have come from this. And where we go from here is sourcing collective reality together in brand new genius fusion ways, which I think is really exciting. So for me, that, I think that I could feel that kind of does it. And I'm going to recommend that if you see something that rings your chimes and is like a challenge that's going on in the world or in your life, pop it into the Masters of the Genius Universe Facebook group and let's work on it as a collective together and see what we can create. That's an exciting possibility of us going forward from here.
Yes, and also see what you might be divinely inspired to understand about what's going on in this world, whatever this world is.
Yes.
I guess it really depends on how you look at it and how you feel about it and how you seek to divine something which to have everyone inspired to a level of sense awareness that just goes, I get what this is about. And you know what? Oh, bring it on, babe. Bring on the greatness, bring on the wonder, bring on the magical awe. Bring on the sense of celebration, and let's just yee-haw!
Yes, for sure.
I think that's really going to come to it.
So I think I would just wrap it up by saying that every single one of you watching these videos is already a master of the genius universe. That there is nothing you have to strive to achieve. That which already is on fire inside of you is your mastery. Those wondrous experiences you've had in life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, are all part of what has led you to being a master of the genius universe. And you can use every one of those pieces and aspects of becoming to fuel you into an amazing adventure as we together source a genius world and a genius universe together in incredible new ways.
And it's exciting to see where we'll go from here.
And it is. And if you have any suggestions, ideas for where we go from here, what we could do next, put them in the Facebook group. We would love to hear. Absolutely. Brilliant. So thank you all for playing and for sourcing this awesome, incredible, super massively wondrous new Masterful Collective. Breathtaking. Thank you.
We've loved being on the journey with you.
Yes, absolutely. Walk masterfully in your lives, everybody. Love you lots.
Don't forget to get the t-shirt. Goodbye for now.
Bye.